Hello Movie Mavens, welcome back to another video on the B Movies channel. My name is Bailey and I put the B in movies. I hope you are having a wonderful week. I'm having a good week, but I'll get into it in Bailey Babbles in a second, because there's something I want to talk about, we'll get into it in a second, but I hope that you're having a wonderful week. We have a bit of a beefy video for you today. I'm very excited. Oh my gosh, my blue light glasses are like fogging up. Because I don't know if anybody else lives in, with climate change, everywhere is wild. But if you live in the South, I live in Texas, and it is just hot as all get out. And it's been rainy and humid and just icky. So I have my fan going, so I apologize if you can hear it. Let me move it in closer. There we go. I originally had an entirely different Bailey Babble, and I'm still going to do that as well to kind of balance this part out. But yeah, I've always said, I'm honest with y'all. I let you know to a certain extent what's going on in my life, and so I just want to be very honest. My dad died yesterday, and I'm fine. I know that may sound bad, but just to be very transparent, my father was an abooter to both my mother and I. He left my sister twice, once when she was 15, when my mom found out she was pregnant with me, and then once when I was 18. It was for the same woman both times, and he wasn't abusive to my sister, but he put her through a lot. He put just everybody in my family through a lot. And so I just want to kind of normalize this whole like Jeanette McCurdy, I'm glad my mom died mentality of two things can be true at once. I do have happy memories with my father. The holes of these little lightning bolt earrings are to coordinate with my Lisa Frankenstein shirt from Halftime Horror that I'm just obsessed with. I was scared to get those pierced. I was 5, and so he got his ear pierced first. I look fondly on that memory. He was also an abooter. Two things can be true. And I know that there are probably people in my hometown or in my life that are not going to be happy with the piece I'm writing about Rick. And these are one of the moms whose house I would go to a lot when things would be bad, I think said it really well, that no one gets to tell me how I feel. And, my sister and I have talked, and she fully supports everything she knows. She knows that she said, all you're doing is sharing your truth. That's all you're doing. And my brother-in-law agrees, and so I just want to kind of normalize that sometimes people who were abusive in your life will pass away. And I think that we need to normalize those complicated feelings around it. Because I do have some sadness for my dad, but at the same time, my first immediate feeling, if I'm being totally transparent, was relief. So I just want to say those things, not to start anything, not to be dramatic. As I have joked with a couple of people, this is the only other time we'll ever have to talk about dead parents here on the B Movies channel, because I only had 2. But yeah, I just want to normalize that conversation around it is okay to not just be sad, and it is okay to have big, messy, complicated feelings when someone who is an abooter dies. It's okay. It is okay. And I just want to sit here and normalize that with you. And just, if anyone is in the same boat, I see you, I hear you. Because when KP passed away, I still, to this day, I'm still not recovered from her passing, and that was almost 2 years ago. And when I found out that Rick had passed, when my sister called me, my first feeling was relief. I went, and that was my just natural feeling. So I just wanted to say, I see all of you who are in the same boat, And I just want to normalize that conversation of it is okay. So to kind of balance out a heavy start to the B Movies video today, my Bailey Babble is I just wanted to talk about how good dogs are and that we don't deserve them. I had another stupid kidney infection because things have been so uncharacteristically busy for me. I would say for the past 6 to 8 weeks. It has been just wild and like a lot of good things, but it's just been crazy busy in my neck of the woods. And last weekend I had a kidney infection, and that Sunday, hoo-wee, baby, it was rough. And my dogs were just curled up beside me the entire time, especially Shiloh and Pudge were just right there. I had to sleep on the couch some because it's hard to get if you've had a kidney infection or a UTI, you know that it's like hard positioning, and I was also coming off my period, so like I could not find a comfortable spot to save my life, and when I did, I would just basically become one with the couch in that spot. And like we just don't deserve dogs because my dogs were right there beside me the whole time. They would even get up with me if I needed to go to the bathroom or anything. One of them was usually right there. And so I just want to say, as someone who lives in a city the Austin Animal Shelter right now is very overcrowded and there are some dogs at risk. I know that it is not a financial possibility for everyone right now. Fully know that. But if you can adopt a dog and you've been looking to adopt a dog, now's the time, especially if you live in a kill county, or if you know your shelters are overcrowded. I would say go get yourself a pet. Really, now is the time. And I promise you, I adopted Sadie and Pudge, both from Austin Pets Alive, and Shiloh was adopted from a shelter in my mom's neck of the woods. And so I promise you, adopting dogs is the best decision I ever made. And so if you are in a place where you can financially support an animal, now's the time. So that's what I was going to say is we don't deserve dogs. And it was like, oh, by the way, my dad passed away. So I think that's enough for the Bailey Babbles today. That's just when I talk about dogs and dads. So let's go ahead and move to this week's blog roundup. For those who are new around here, the B Movies channel is a continuation of the B Movies blog, where we release pieces every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so this week over on the B Movies blog, on Monday we talked about I Saw the TV Glow. Pardon me, my goodness. I loved this movie. I would also like to apologize. The director of I Saw the TV Go uses they, them pronouns. I believe I said she, and I apologize. That is fully on me. But loved this movie. We talked about it last week on the channel, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I will link that piece and all of the pieces that were out this week below. Really, really, really liked I Saw the TV Glow. On Tuesday, we talked about High School Mean Girls, everyone from Courtney Shane to Regina George. And so that way you can relive your high school trauma without having to go back to high school, because me personally could not pay me to go back to high school. On Wednesday, we talked about possession movies, and I had to get a little strict with the criteria on this one because I was like, well, what about Jennifer's Body? But I was like, that's technically a succubus. Does that count? Or The Faculty. Technically they're possessed, but it's an alien life form hive mind situation. And so I hope that y'all will forgive me if some of your favorites are left off, but I'm going with the more traditional, like The Exorcist. I did put Amityville Horror. I think that does count. I know that's probably going to be controversial, but I did the best I could. On Thursday, we talked about Fuse, and when I was talking to Elliot when she was editing this, I realized that more people, I may have overestimated how many people grew up watching Fuse. I feel like this one is we've talked about some niche stuff. I think this is one of the most niche pieces. So, like, if you are one of my Fuse peeps, please let me know if you remember watching Fuse, because that's how I found out. That's where I first heard Amy Winehouse was on Fuse. It's like Canadian MTV almost, but like they also started doing sketch comedy stuff. So, like, that's where Whitest Kids You Know aired first. That's where The Nighttime Clap was. I loved that show. Pants Off, Dance Off, if you know, you know. So I do hope that some of you remember Fuse, because I promise it existed, because I watched it a lot as a kid. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, listen here. Okay. When I hate it too, because for those who don't know, like, I mirrored, so like I can't even fully, okay, we're just gonna roll with it. Um, so I can't even fully tell like which side it's actually on. And then today we are doing, this is up there for like the High School Musical Dante's Inferno piece, where I was watching Fever Pitch, which the movie's awful. It's not a good, yeah, it did not hold up for me the way that I used to love it when I was younger. It does not hold up for me, at least personally. And I was like, man, this sounds like we're going to call them Am I the Bunghole posts. And then a light bulb went off. And so today you can read 10 movie plots that I've turned into Am I the Bunghole posts. And Elliot texted me and said, Bailey, I'm effing cackling in all caps. And this is definitely, I think this is going to become a series, because this was a lot of fun to do. So I really hope you enjoy that. And I did include at the end of the piece, there are answers. There are hints, obviously, in the post itself, but I did put below, at the very end of the piece, all of the answers. So if you were like, I'm not sure what movie this is, got you covered. So just to recap, this week over on the B Movies blog, I Saw the TV Glow, High School Mean Girls, Possession Movies, Fuse, and Am I the Bunghole movie plots. So let's go ahead and move on to our Bite Size Sunday teaser. So Bite Size Sundays, these are little reviews of content that I don't really think deserve a full piece, but I still want to talk about or shout out. And these live exclusively on our Instagram, which is just at bmovies channel, same as our YouTube handle. And so this week, the hint for Bite Size Sundays, which you can only get here. Y'all, my hair looked so good when I started this morning. I'm getting so upset at this spray. So the hint is The Lost Boys, but make it ghosts. I found this show on a whim. I just opened Hulu and I was like, what is this? And I loved it. So I can't wait to talk about it on Sunday. So that should do it for all the housekeeping up top. So let's go ahead and get into today's deep dive. So in honor of Am I the Bunghole posts, I wanted to read 3 actual Am I the Bunghole posts from Reddit. Now, I'm trying to keep things light, so none of these are super crazy. 2 of them just made me giggle. And so I'll also link all of the posts in the description box so you can check and see if there are any updates, make your own decisions. But I'm just going to read 3 Am I the Bunghole posts for you. So, am I the bunghole for being mad about the Taylor Swift concert situation? Weird title, but I'll explain. Around a year ago, me and wife planned for a trip later this year to go see the Eras Tour in another state. I initially was hesitant because of the cost, but I came around because I really wanted to share this experience with my wife. She's a huge fan, and I've started to become one myself. So much so, I'm actually really excited about our trip. Then this Sunday, her best friend out of the blue texts her, saying she loves the new Swift album and wishes she could go to the tour with her. My wife pretty much instantly says her friend can have my ticket. Woof. As someone who, my red flag is I love Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. Fully will admit that. I do, yeah, that's woof. Knowing how much those tickets cost, like, God. Of course, when she tells me I am not happy. I really want to go with her to share this experience. I've practically turned into a full-blown Swiftie. I bought my wife copies of every album with Taylor-themed 3D print stands. That's so cool. multiple signed vinyls of each album, all kinds of merch, custom gifts with Taylor lyrics printed all over them. I've tried to be the perfect Swiftie husband. So yeah, I'm pretty mad at the fact she would just push me aside for someone who didn't give a F about Swift to, I don't know why are we calling her by her last name? Okay. That's a choice, my friend. I'm going to respect that choice and don't understand it. So we come to the agreement that that isn't going to work. Well, now my wife has the idea of selling our 2 floor tickets for 3 less expensive tickets. Okay, not ideal, but whatever. Well, you don't get paid for selling tickets until after the event. Now my wife expects me to cover $7,000. I just had a mild heart attack. Until she might find someone to buy our tickets. I'm not poor, but I'm also not in a position to just loan out $7,000 with only a potential chance of repayment. I think that's fair. So I tell her I am not comfortable doing that, put our tickets up for sale first to make sure we recoup our money before committing to buying new tickets. She isn't comfortable doing that. So I guess we're at an impasse then, right? Her friend will need to find a ticket. Well, this morning, I wake up to a bunch of don't be mad messages from my wife. She took $7,000 out of my, I don't know if you say, I've heard it as HELOC and as an HELOC. Either way, that's bad, to buy these tickets, and now is trying to sell ours. So I'm pretty mad about that because at the very least, I'm stuck paying hundreds in fees and interest even if she recoups the money spent. I also don't know if this is the same with the 401k, but I don't know if you pull this out early too, there's a lot of tax stuff that you have to deal with. She says she might even make a few thousand profit, which I guess would be okay. But I can't shake the fact she at first had no problem offering my ticket to her friend without even asking me. I'm kind of mad her friend isn't talking some sense into my wife as well. I don't like how that's phrased. That's a red flag for me, how that's phrased. Am I wrong here? Am I being unreasonable? Okay. So, here are my thoughts on this one. I do think this is written a little pointed. I will say that. But, like when we're upset about things, we're always going to write things pointed, right? Text messages, things like that. It's just going to be pointed. The part about, like, I'm kind of mad her friend isn't talking some sense into her, I don't like that at all. Overall, I'm going to say not the bunghole. With the caveat of, to me, the way some of this is phrased seems very pointed, and I don't really like it. But if it is truly just as simple as your wife promised a ticket to someone without communicating with you, not the bunghole. But I would also, this is when I would love to hear from the wife's perspective of like, did she ask? Was there, like, did he make it known that he was a Swiftie? So I'm going to say soft, not the bunghole. That's oh my gosh, my hair. It was so cute when I sprayed it earlier. So I'm going to say not the bunghole on this one, with the caveat of I would also love to hear from the wife. So we're going to say soft, not the bunghole. So next up, this story made me laugh so hard, and I'm so excited. So would I be the bunghole for not letting my stepdaughter spend 200 pounds on a tiny leg for Roblox? This story made me laugh so hard because it's so, you can tell that this person is so, it's just like pure of heart. I, male 46, and my fiance 41, female, live with my son 18 male and stepdaughter 13 female in the UK. Both of our kids are a bit spoiled and pretty much get everything they want for birthdays, etc. As a result, my stepdaughter has managed to save up 200 pounds since Christmas. Not because she's not buying things she wants, but because she doesn't want anything. She got very into reading, and we bought her the book she wanted because we think it's a great thing to encourage. Hard agree. She really likes Roblox and has been trying to explain to us that there's an offer on right now for 200 pounds, approximately $250 USD, that would get her 22,500 Robux, the in-game currency, rather than the normal 20,000. This would also get her some special golden headphones in the game, not real life, written like a true dad. And she would be able to buy this apparently super prestigious outfit called the Core Blocks Death Speaker. It's basically a way of showing off how much money you have in the game. But she only wants the leg. The outfit has one tiny leg, which other people would be really impressed with, so we've been told. I'm not laughing at, I know I have been 13. I know how important these things are. It's just so funny to like look back as an adult. It's just very funny to me. I'm not making fun of this girl for wanting this. Please know that. So we've been told. I saw a Reddit post saying core blocks is literally a toothpick for rich people to have on their leg. We're stuck on what to do with this. On the one hand, it's her money. She saved it up, and if she spends it on this, then she won't have any money left. And maybe she should have the autonomy to do that if she wants. But on the other hand, her pocket money would come in, so it's not like I think she would feel any kind of impact from it. And it's 200 pounds for a tiny leg. I can't even type this without feeling so ridiculously embarrassed to ask the question. And then I do love this part. There are families who live on less than this a week. How can we talk about the value of money and approve something like this? I do like the recognition of that privilege. I will shout them out for that. My fiance and I are really aligned on this. So Reddit, would we be the bungholes if we told her she can't buy the thing? Extra info. This is the word that really got me. For absolute clarity, this is not an actual leg or any kind of tangible leg or product. This is a virtual item in a video game. She has been hounding us about this for days now, promising everything under the sun if she can have it, saying she should learn from her own mistakes. It's her money and she could sell it later and it would be valuable. I don't know enough about the game to know if this is accurate. So to me, this is not the bunghole. Because I fully see both sides. Again, I've been 13. When I was 13, I had passions, when I drank my low-carb monsters every morning and my pop punks, I there were things I wanted from Hot Topic. There were things like that. I saved, like for my first iPhone, I saved money up for my summer job. That was also when iPhones cost a few $100s. It was not anywhere near where it is now. But as an adult who just had to buy a new iPhone and because my iPhone 7S finally came out a few months ago. And I had to go from that to a 15 Pro Max, which, let me tell you, I've never felt so elderly in my life. But I don't think you're the bunghole here at all. I think that is a very fair assessment, and also, I do think this is a teachable moment of, like you said, there are families who are barely getting by and, have half of that, a fourth of that, a sixth of that a week. And so I do think this is a valuable lesson. But at the same time, with teenagers, sometimes you have to let them learn that lesson the hard way. So I do agree that this is a teachable moment. But at the end of the day, you may have to let her get the tiny leg and then kind of realize what she did later. But I don't believe you're the bunghole for not wanting her to spend the money on that. I don't at all. I think that's just good parenting. To have that perspective of like, she has this money, she's about to spend it on this thing, and people are struggling, and so like we don't know what to do. So I don't think you would be the bunghole at all if you said no. But just know, again, with teenagers sometimes, because I was one. And there were times that my mom told me things and I did not listen to her, and it would have made situations so much easier if I had, but I just had to learn my lesson the hard way. So I don't think you'd be the bunghole at all. So lastly, this is one of the wildest things I've ever read, just because there's one part of this that I was like, because I have tons of inside jokes with my friends, and this is crazy. So, am I the bunghole for making too many Drake jokes? My friend, female 21, and I, female 20, have been making Drake the type of guy jokes for over a year now. And there was a point when that's all we would text each other. Understandable. I have tons of inside jokes with my friends. When we would hang out with our group of friends, a good chunk of our time was the Drake jokes we would make to each other. We thought it was the most hilarious thing ever said and made our other two friends read our entire text log of Drake jokes. And that took a good 15 minutes to get through. Pause for a second. That's a lot. There are, I am an open book, but some of the things I text my friends, because y'all know I have a real quick and sharp little mind. I would not want the general public to know some of the things I have said and some of the things that have come out of my mouth. Colin, if you're watching, all I will say is a Taco Bell cherry sunrise. And if you're like, what is that? I will not explain it, and I will not take any further questions on what I said that was. So, and you will not guess what I said, I can assure you. So, I personally, there is no way. There are times I have been like, was I the bunghole, and had people look through text logs or sent screenshots for receipts. But there is no way I would have two people go through all of our inside jokes. That's wild. Um, with that and the constant jokes we make every time we hung out, they said they couldn't do it anymore and it was too much and that the text chain was their breaking point. Me and my friend were shocked that they were annoyed by the jokes and couldn't handle them anymore and forced them to sit through reading every text we sent to each other about Drake. So am I the bunghole for making too many Drake jokes and forcing them to sit through all of them? Okay. So I don't necessarily think you're the bunghole. I don't think I think it's no bungholes here, personally. But y'all are also young. Y'all are 20 and 21. I get it. Sometimes, and this is as someone who is a writer, who did stand up for a bit, sometimes there is going to be something that you think is so funny and so brilliant, and it just does not land. And that is okay. But I think, like with the Roblox, this is a really good learning opportunity of everyone is not always going to have your same sense of humor. Things that you find funny, other people are not going to find funny. I remember one time a very uncomfortable car ride where one of my friends had just found out about Bo Burnham's Pandering Country song. And see, I love Bo Burnham. I think it's very funny. The other people in the car did not think it was funny. And I, was laughing with the friend who was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. And the other people in the car did not find it funny at all. And so that's okay. There are different styles of comedy for a reason. So I think don't force people to like try to be inside the joke you have with your friend. Just appreciate that you have a friend who understands that sense of humor, who thinks it's funny. And just from here on out, just be more reserved with that, with their time, be more respectful of their time. But I think no bungholes here. I do think the two friends, either they will get over this, or if this is truly all it took for them to be like, yeah, we're done here, there was either something else going on, or it was just time to let those friends go. So I'm going to say no bungholes here on this one. And yeah, just a learning experience of, just maybe in the future, don't make people read that, but at the same time, be happy that you have that friend that does understand and connect on that sense of humor. And I'm glad that y'all have that connection in your friendship. So, if you've enjoyed me reading these, I will say, because we know I love Smosh, I do. I love Smosh. They do, every Saturday on their Smosh Pit channel, they release a Reddit stories. It's like an hour to an hour and a half long, where Shane reads Reddit stories to two guests. They're rotating out. And so I would highly recommend watching those if you enjoyed this, but I just thought this would be a fun tie-in since we did the Am I the Bunghole movie plot piece this week. So next, let's go ahead and get to our special features. Again, if you're new here. This section is reserved for updates on all of our favorite analog horror series, horror ARGs, things that I haven't talked about on the blog yet, and things that I might not talk about on the blog. And so that's just another perk of subscribing to our YouTube channel, which subscribe if you haven't. So this week's special features. So we have discussed, I am not a gamer girly. I respect gaming. I love watching playthroughs a lot of the time. It's a way for me to decompress. I love to have them on as background noise. It's usually that or podcasts, or whatever I'm watching. But I'll put on playthroughs like without commentary and watch them for hours. And so I don't exactly know, this game got served up on my recommended on YouTube, and I'd never heard of it, and so I watched a Markiplier playthrough. I wish I had watched, no offense to Markiplier, I'm not going to say that, don't come for me. But I prefer usually silent playthroughs, so I kind of wish I had watched a silent playthrough, but I'm also a completionist, and so like once I started watching Markiplier's playthrough, I was like, well, now I have to watch the entire game from Markiplier. So, Fran Bow. Listen, I know I'm 8 years behind on this, but again, I don't video games, like if it's not a series or a movie, we've talked about this, I'm, like dating someone who is playing it, or, my friends are playing it. Video game news is not something that really I keep track of. Things like Poppy's Playtime, where like there are other elements and there's a YouTube channel and stuff, yes. But like, other than that, no. So I do know this game is like 8 years old, so I'm sorry. But I just watched the playthrough of Fran Bow, and I'm obsessed with this game. The animation is cool, the story is so unique. It's dark as hell, but I was fully captivated the entire time, like fully engrossed, fully captivated. I will say CWTW for, she said, mental illness, unaliving, all like topics. But if those things aren't triggering to you, I highly recommend watching a playthrough of this game because it's so cool and it's so unique, and I loved it. I watched all like 4 or 5 hours of content. And then, so on a similar note, because again, I'm not a gamer girly, so I like, I think it's called the Wicked Makers channel, where they make big animatronics and characters based on like Poppy's Playtime. Because they've done a big catnap, they've done FNAF characters, and so this video was for the Ink Demon from Bendy and the Dark Revival, and I was not aware that a year ago another Bendy game had come out, because I loved Bendy and the Ink Machine. I watched a silent playthrough and I was just enamored. And so I was like, hold on, before I watch this video, I obviously have to watch a playthrough. So I've been watching a silent playthrough. And I love the first Bendy game. I've even considered like getting a tattoo of Boris or Alice Angel, because I love it. I haven't been able to commit, but again, I committed to a 4.5 hour silent playthrough. And my thoughts on it, I do prefer Bendy and the Ink Machine overall. But I love Audrey's character. I think she's really dope. And so I love her character. But story-wise, overall, I love Bendy and the Ink Machine better. I just do. I have such a soft spot for Boris. I just think the storyline's a bit tighter and a bit cleaner. But I didn't hate Bendy and the Dark Revival. And I love Audrey's character. I think Audrey's so cool. And so that's my take on a video game that came out a year ago. So, very timely stuff here over the B-Movies channel when it comes to video games. So, lastly, let's get to subtitles. These are just little bits of news from around the internet. And we have some cool ones this week. I'm very excited. And, like, I don't know about all my spooky friends, but I'm getting so excited that we're getting so close to, like, Halloween stuff being revealed. And so that's why when I found out about this first piece of subtitles news, I was very excited, which is the General Mills monsters will be getting pets this year. And I can't. They are so cute. Like Count Chocula has a little spider. Frankenberry has a bat that has little white sneakers on. Carmilla Creeper has a snake. And then Boo Berry has a little ghost cat. They are so cute. They all have names. And then I love the artwork for the cereal this year. And then the pets will also be getting, you know how they do like the Monster Mash cereal, like the Monster Remix cereals where it's like all of them mixed together? They'll be doing that, but they'll also have pet marshmallows and cereal pieces. So I'm very excited. The Barbarella remake is allegedly eyeing Edgar Wright to direct, which I was kind of, but if we're going to get Edgar Wright involved, y'all, I don't know. That kind of sways me a bit. This also, for those of if you've not been on the internet, a lot of stuff is being renewed. A lot of stuff has been announced this week. So, for example, a couple weeks ahead of the season 4 premiere, The Boys has already been renewed for a 5th season. Gen V, also, this came out a few weeks ago, but I did not talk about it. Gen V won't be recasting Chance Perdomo's role. They're going to rewrite the season instead. So that will be upcoming, and I do think that's the right choice. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are starring in some sort of reality show. There was a teaser posted to Instagram that just said, like, I think it's Same Besties New Era is what the caption was, with some sound bites from The Simple Life. So I don't know if it's going to be like The Simple Life. I don't know if it's going to be like an adult, not like an adult, but like a more grown up, like, reality show, because Paris already has her one with Peacock. And so I have no idea what year we're living in, but okay, I am here for it. Mr. and Mrs. Smith will be returning for a season 2. However, it seems we're going to be getting a new cast of characters, which I'm honestly cool with, because we established up top there are all of these different Smiths. And so I am fine if we're going to do almost an anthology series. I'm fine with that, because it is very clearly established that we're not going to have to do a lot of retcon. So I'm here for that. Radio Silence has left the Escape from New York reboot. That's another one I was already kind of, why are we remaking it? But I trusted Radio Silence, so I don't know. Nervous about that one now. Amazon's Roadhouse remake will be getting a sequel with Jake Gyllenhaal returning. I'm just going to be very honest. I did not hate the new Roadhouse. I didn't hate it. Like, it will never be Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse. I didn't hate it, though. I'll just be very honest. Like, I had a fun time with it. Reese Witherspoon and Hello Sunshine, which is her production company, so Reese Witherspoon, her Legally Blonde prequel series, Elle, which will show Elle Woods in high school, has landed at Amazon with a 2025 premiere date. For those who don't know, it is also being led by Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, so, like, I have all the faith in the world for this. Like, I'm very excited for this. I think this is in very good hands. Amazon also announced that Phoebe Waller-Bridge will be writing and executive producing a freaking Tomb Raider series. If you grew up like me in the late 90s and early to mid 2000s, I am so jazzed about this. Because the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie, oh my god. I'm very excited. Universal's Horror Nights has officially released a teaser trailer. I, like everyone in the comments, I can't fully tell what the theme is. But I am, again, it's just making me excited for spooky season. Will I get to go? No. Do I live on the halfway across the country from it? Yes. But I just am, again, very excited that we're seeing some Code Orange already. The third season of Yellow Jackets is officially in production. Super stoked for it. I still, for those who don't know, if you ever want to hear my theory, I can talk about that too. Because I have a theory that I think I know what is going on. Blumhouse announced a ton of release dates yesterday, including release dates for the second Megan movie, Black Phone 2, and FNAF 2. Megan will release next June, the Black Phone will release next October, and FNAF will round out the year with a December 2025 release. And then lastly for today, well, next to last actually, because we're going to talk about something else, but the I Know What You Did Next Summer movie will release next year in 2025. And it has director Jennifer Caton Robinson at the helm. If you don't know who that is, she directed Do Revenge, which I love. So I'm very excited because Do Revenge has showed us she knows how to pay homage to that time period. So I'm actually very stoked. And so the last thing is, and I'm just going to be really honest, I'm going to have to research this more. I'm going to touch on this, but then we'll talk about it more next week. I don't understand the Jason universe thing. I don't fully get it because it doesn't seem like there's going to be movies. It seems like it's going to be a TV show. To me, it seems like a marketing ploy. Y'all, I don't know. I don't fully understand this whole Jason universe thing that they're doing with Friday the 13th. I'm already kind of because Brian Fuller walked away from the series, the Crystal Lake series. And as we know, like, Hannibal's wonderful. Like, he's great. So, like, I don't know. I will dive more into that and get back to you because I am still a bit confused with exactly what's going on there. And I don't necessarily know that I will have more clarity, but I will follow up with all of you next week. So I think with that, it is time to wrap it up. So please follow me on Instagram at Lisa_Frankenstein_, which I swear was my handle years before the movie came out. I promise. And even if it wasn't, so what? Follow Elliot on Instagram at reading.with.red. Follow us on Instagram at bmovieschannel, just same as our YouTube. Elliot has posted 2 new books for the B Movies book club, so check out those recommendations from her. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed. It's free. Please give us a like if you feel so inclined, and leave a comment if you're feeling frisky. I have a lot of fun with y'all. I hope you have a lot of fun here. I always look forward to filming, so I hope you look forward to these videos coming out. And I guess on that note, all that's left to do is fade to black.